those who are enjoying reading books. Somebody was asking me the other day, do people still read books? Yes, they do. I'm one of them. Many read Kindle books. I prefer reading the real book, the paperback, the hard copy, like the one I have of Dale Carnegie, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. We're in chapter 3. He says, what worry may do to you. Some people don't know that the more they worry, the more they invite some ailments, psychosomatic illnesses. Because worry is unhealthy. It gets your blood pressure up. It affects your brain, affects your emotions, and affects your physical body. There are certain conditions or diseases, disease or disease. It's all about having a disease in your body. That worry, it does something to the heart. High blood pressure is fed by worry, he says. I'm reading page 43. Rheumatism can be caused by worry. Worry less for your stomach's sake, implying that worry may contribute to stomach problems, stomach ulcers, indigestion, constipations. Why worry can cause cold? Worry can also contribute to you catching cold or having common cold. Worry can also affect your thyroid and can also contribute to diabetes. We work against ourselves. Man works against himself. You can heal your body, but you can also do certain things like worry that may contribute to ill health. If you want to stop working against yourself, you need to stop worrying. He continues to say on page 43, worry can make even the most stolid person ill, because as you keep on worrying, from what he's saying here, it does not help change the situation you are in. Rather, it helps your body to become unwell. He's giving an example of Grant, who was in a war, in a battle, and developed violent sick headache, fell behind his army and stopped at a farmhouse, and says, I spent the night, he records in his memoirs, in bathing my feet in hot water and mustard, and putting mustard plasters on my wrists and the back part of my neck, hoping to be cured by morning. The next morning he was cured instantly, and the thing that cured him was not all the medication that he took, mustard plaster and all the stuff that he took, but the cure came instantly when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an officer came bearing the message that reached Grant, that other side have given up, have surrendered. He says here, I was still suffering with sick headache, but the instant I saw the contents of the note, I was cured. I was healed. Obviously, it was Grant's worries, tensions, and emotions that made him ill. He was cured instantly the moment his emotions took on the hue of confidence, achievement, and victory. Have you noticed how when we get good news and our body, our emotions are lifted up, and even if you had a headache, a splitting headache, out of nowhere, just disappears. Or if your blood pressure was high and all of a sudden goes back down to normal. And that is what worry can do. It can affect your blood pressure. It can create unnecessary painful headaches. He continues, says, if I want to see what worry does to people, I don't have to go to a library or to a physician. I can look out the window of my home where I'm writing this book, and I can see within one block one house where worry caused a nervous breakdown, and another house where a man's worried himself into diabetes. When the stock market went down, the sugar in his blood and urine went up. He goes on to say, when the illustrious French philosopher was elected mayor of his hometown, he said to his fellow citizens, I'm willing to take your affairs into my hands, but not into my liver and lungs. In other words, when we take on too many things and worry about them, they may lead to lungs and liver complications. This neighbor of mine took the affairs of the stock market into the bloodstream and almost killed himself. Worry can put you into a wheelchair with rheumatism and arthritis. Dr. Russell L. Cecil of the Cornell University Medical School is a well-recognized authority on arthritis, and he has listed 4 of the commonest conditions that bring on arthritis: marital shipwreck, financial disaster and grief, loneliness and worry, long-cherished resentment. If these are part of your life, know that you may be actually inviting rheumatism and arthritis. Not that every arthritis is caused by this. He says, naturally, these 4 emotional situations are far from being the only causes of arthritis. There are many different kinds of arthritis due to various causes. But to repeat, the commonest conditions that bring on arthritis are the 4 that have just been listed by Dr. Russell: marital shipwreck, financial disaster and grief, loneliness and worry, long cherished resentment. For watch out for those in your life. He's given an example of a situation where a couple, when they started getting into financial situation, this particular couple, his wife suddenly had a painful attack of arthritis. And in spite of medication and diets, the arthritis continued until their financial situation improved. Worry can even cause tooth decay. Dr. William I.L. McConaughey said in an address before the American Dental Association that unpleasant emotions such as those caused by worry, fear, nagging may upset the body's calcium balance and cause tooth decay. So, what is causing your tooth decay? Have you been worrying a lot? Have you been resentful and having inability to forgive? Have you been nagging a lot? Have you been allowing fear to control your life? When that happens, you actually invite illnesses into your body. In page 46, he says, have you ever seen a person with an acutely overactive thyroid? I have, and I can tell you, they tremble, they shake, they look like someone half scared to death. And that's about what it amounts to. The thyroid gland, the gland that regulates the body, has been thrown out of order. It speeds up the heart. The whole body is roaring away as at full blast like a furnace, and with all its drawers wide open. And if this isn't checked by operation or treatment, the victim may die, may burn himself out. So let's pay attention to our worry, and there are things we can do to reduce and regulate our worry. Most of the things we worry about are not even worth worrying about because they belong in the past. You cannot go back and change the past. Similarly, worrying about things that haven't happened, that are in the future, is like paying a debt that you don't have. There are some relaxations and recreation activities that Dave talks about. He says, find the most relaxing, recreating forces that are healthy, such as healthy religion, adequate sleep, music, and laughter. Have faith in God, learn to sleep well, love good music, enjoy good music, see the funny side of life, and health and happiness will be yours. He says that in page 46. So now, the first question to ask yourself is, if I worry about yesterday, does it change yesterday? What emotional disturbance brought the condition that you find yourself in right now? If you don't stop worrying, the book goes on to say, you could complicate your life. You can start having heart troubles, stomach ulcers, diabetes, and all these diseases, he says, that even medical treatment may not be able to address because they are emotionally caused diseases. He said that there are cousins and first cousins. They are first cousins. They are all worry diseases. Worry diseases. And he talks about having interviewed Oberon. She told him that she refused to worry because she knew that worry would destroy her chief asset on the motion picture screen, her good looks. Do you know that worrying also impacts on your skin? You start developing wrinkles sooner than you should. You start developing lines on your face that shouldn't be there. Because when you worry a lot and you end up not getting enough sleep, not getting enough rest, it will impact your skin. It will show on your skin. That's why some people start developing skin, start breaking up in skin rashes. Skin rashes that are linked to the stress. Pay attention when you stress a lot, you worry a lot about something, you start seeing pimples on your face that you never used to have. And that does not change what happened, the issue that you worry about. Heart disease, for example, is said to be the number one killer in the world, and often is triggered by worry. Yes, some things are genetic, but most of the ailments we face and we experience, as Dale is stating in his book, are often caused by worry. So start scanning your body and paying attention to the that you worry about, where you allow worry. And when you catch yourself worrying about something that you have no control over, something that is outside your control, something that you have no power over, there are things that are within our circle of control, then there are things that are out of our control. Is to get to acceptance that this situation in my past I cannot change. This current situation that I'm in, what can I do about it? What can I change? And what's the worst that can happen to me? Then you realize that worry is counterproductive for you. I'm advising you to buy this book and read it for yourself and go through it. you can benefit something. As you read it, reflect on your life. Thank you for listening.